Well, ISIS delivering a crushing blow to Iraq by overtaking Ramadi. So why is that city so important to both Iraqi and American forces? Air Force veteran and Congressman Adam Kinzinger joins us. Nice to see you, sir.
Yeah,
now it's Ramadi. We've had Mosul in June of 2014, and now it's on to Ramadi.
It seems like we're basically in a where's where list of everywhere that America fought hard to bring freedom to the Iraqi people. Mosul was a very long and drawn-out battle that the American forces put a lot of blood and treasure into. And Ramadi's the same way. Billions of dollars, hundreds of lives. And it also represents a very important strategic point in the sealing of western Iraq. And if you look at supply lines from Jordan and Syria into Iraq, Ramadi plays a important role. So this is devastating if, in fact, the whole city falls.
Well, the other night we had on the governor of the province where Mosul is, and he said that all they need are weapons from the United States government, and he can't get them, but they could have pushed ISIS out. Now, we're doing things from the air, but he says they need weapons. Now we look at Ramadi falling or about to fall. What are we doing?
Well, we're failing to do what we did so successfully in the surge. The surge was about, more American troops. That worked well. But it was also about bringing the Sunnis on board and being part of government. Now, we know after we left, unfortunately, in 2011, Iraq became sectarianized again. But yeah, at the end of the day, they need to get the weapons they need to fight. But we also have to understand this. I think with the Iraqi government, it's important for the United States to say, look, we're going to step up our involvement. That's probably going to take some ground troops ultimately. I hate to say it, but probably the case.
Ground troops?
I think it's going to end up taking folks embedded with Iraqi security forces, calling in airstrikes directly. And I think in some cases it may end up taking direct action because, as we're seeing, we're not pushing this problem back. But it's going to come with a cost to the Iraqi military, which is we have to push out the influence of Iran in your country. And we also need to push back the Shia militias that are finding themselves so engaged and so worked up. Because here's the concern is ISIS finally gets pushed out of Iraq, we hope one day, but these Shia militias now see it as their opportunity to seize control of the whole country.
We get these readouts of conversations that our leader, President, has with other leaders of the country. Today there was a readout from the White House of a conversation with the Prime Minister of Iraq, and I read it, and it said that there was a promise from the White House to help in Iraq. Then I looked, though, and the person having the conversation was the Vice President. It was Vice President Biden and not President Obama. Should I read something into it that he's speaking to the Prime Minister of Iraq and not President Obama?
I think what you can read into it is what's been happening under this administration. The President always keeps stuff like this at an arm's length. When we left in 2000, one of the concerns we heard from the Iraqi government is when our troops left, when the last boot came off the ground, we completely disengaged with the Iraqi government. Sure, you had State Department presence there, but they didn't get calls from President Obama, whereas President Bush prior was very engaged in what was happening in Iraq. So, yeah, I think this sends a very bad message, and frankly, it's given an opportunity.
Unless, of course, Vice President Biden has a special relationship with him.
Well, sure.
And I wouldn't know that.
I don't fault the Vice President for doing it, but we need the President to step up, and we also need to make it clear to the Iraqi government that with U.S. help comes you needing to cooperate less with Iran in the region, because we see that Iran is destabilizing Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, all over the place. It's a very bad influence.
But, of course, they have to agree to that.
Of course they do.
Congressman, thank you.
Thank you.